Just checking the connection, checking frame, checking all these things. If you can hear me, then you can just say hi or just drop a thank you. Hi, Mom. Thank you for joining. Hi, Konkona. Thank you for joining. This is amazing. The first two people who joined are so dear to me. My mother as well as Konkana. Well, we said 6 o'clock and it's a minute to go to 6 o'clock. But here it is. We're going to go live. And Sharma, this is it. This is it. I don't think we're going to wait for more people to join. Let me.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my God. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just trying to keep my phone in a place that's not going to fall on my face
Yeah,
right
I
now.
know. Same here. Same here. Is it okay? Is everything okay?
Yeah, looks like it.
Great.
It won't fall. Mukana, hi.
Hi, Rohini. How are
So
you?
you. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I'm really lucky that I'm okay. My loved ones are okay as of now, in these dark times.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in these dark times, you gave us a film that has brought so much light, so many. So let me start off by saying a big thank you for that beautiful portrait of Bharat. Because
No, thank you. Thank you so much. You know, I have to say that once in a while your voice is cutting out a little bit, but maybe that's just my connection. You can hear me
oh,
fine.
let me check with the audience. This is great because we have an audience today. So if the audience,
Hi, everyone.
hi guys,
Oh,
are you somebody who likes doing Instagram lives? Have you been on Instagram live often?
you know, I haven't done it a lot. I haven't done this a lot. I did it a few times, I think, in last year during the lockdown, and here we are again.
So we are
So, yeah, it's
absolutely.
been a while.
I'm going to start off by asking you, Konkana, did you expect the reception that the film got? Because honestly, it's a short film. Let me give it some perspective. It's
Mhm.
a short, and generally in the country of filmmaking that we come from, short films have always been slightly the neglected child of like feature length films. And I know
Mm.
a lot of short film filmmakers who reach out to me and they say, "Ma'am, I have a short film, but they say, kahan dikhaye?" And here
Mm.
we go, we have a short film that has such a big audience, which has such a big life, and such a great reception. So, how does that? Let's talk about the length of and the reception.
Yeah, you know, the thing what I want to say first is that there are, many short filmmakers and many people who must be making very good short films. You have to have the platform to reach people. So here you have people like, Neeraj Ghewan directing it. You have Dharma, you have Netflix, you have Aditi Rao Hydari and me. So, obviously it can reach out to a larger audience than just anyone making a short film, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm very lucky with this that I got this opportunity. Um, Honestly, I think when we take on something, we just take it on hopefully because we're excited by the people who are making the project or the script itself, the character, etc. So, and because it's such a delayed gratification, the process, because we filmed it last year in October, maybe September, October last year, and so it's not a year, but it's like a long time, So, and that happens with films, right? So there is this. I think we're used to this thing of, oh, it was a while ago, so I've disconnected from those feelings. So I had actually, so much had happened. I'd got, lockdown had opened up. I had started doing some work again, like in Feb I was in Delhi shooting, etc., and I had kind of forgotten all about this. So right now when I came back and this film released, I mean, it came on air, and then now people have started liking it so much that it's just like a gift. It's really a gift out of the blue. It's a blessing because I'd forgotten all about it.
I also know that you're an ally to the community, and today we're at the Kashi.
100%.
So thank you so much because I remember being once at Bonobo hosting an open mic with the queer community, and you dropped in, and that said so much. Just as the person that you were, because that support really matters. Similarly, even at Kashish, you've been there, you've been part of our press conferences to amplify this voice. I'm
And
going
we
to
had that film, na, Monsoon Date, Tanuja Chandra's film. That's also very close to my heart, another short film.
So I wanted to ask you that, has the kind of led you to becoming closer towards the community? Could be one, or is it that, you have always felt that whether or not I had this job or I had these roles, this community is here and I would always be an ally?
I think, I think it's the person who I am that kind of has an effect, on all the decisions that I make anyway. So, and, from my childhood, see, it's never that I thought, oh, this is an important community and therefore I must support it. It was not like that. It's just that even while growing up, there were family, family members who were queer.
Correct.
So, and we knew them as individuals whom we loved, or needn't necessarily love. You don't have to love somebody because they're queer. Just like you don't have to love somebody because they're black. It's just that everybody should have equal rights. It doesn't mean. It's just that what I mean is it's not one monolithic community where everybody's the same within the LGBTQIA community. That's what I meant. That came out correctly. But so it's not like I had an agenda or I had thought that I must be an ally of this community till much later. See, growing up as a child, it's just like I knew people. I knew some people who were queer and totally accepted within our family, and so it was never a question of that I need to be an ally or something at that time. These were just people who we were close to, So I think once I became older and my awareness also grew, so today I would say that yes, I do feel that it's important to kind of, voice that and say that I'm an ally or that I'm 100% supportive of the community. But
No,
that's not something I grew up thinking.
thank you so much for that, because and a lot of people. I just saw a comment by someone, and I totally
I'm
resonate.
missing the comments, but later.
Aparna Sen was the OG ally. Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. So, I mean, growing up with my mom and, yeah, these values were always there.
The community often shudders at portrayals of themselves in a screen, on the big screen, because it's very tough to actually see your story being visualized and acted by people who perhaps may not have that experience, and
Mm-hmm.
support that I think really matters, because so many people turned around and said, wow, I'm a lesbian woman, and this portrayal has been so close to what I feel. So I think that is definitely the most resounding sort of compliment, you think?
Yeah, no, I'm relieved because it is a big responsibility also, um, and particularly because I am neither Dalit nor trans. So it would have been ideal if we could have had a Dalit queer person playing this part. Obviously, that would have been great. What to a certain extent, that is allayed by the fact that Neeraj himself is a Dalit filmmaker and he has come out as such as well. And we had many voices from within the community, as I mentioned to you earlier, within the film crew, from the Dalit community, academics, and even from the queer community. So, just to make sure that we have those authentic voices. Even the script, I think, was vetted by, quite a few people, so that, we are not doing any injustice
Or
in our portrayals.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Approach a role like this, but not you, because it's like a tribal, cake, right? There's three layers, and the three layers being that there's a queer person who's also a Dalit person and who's also a woman. So there's this gender, there's caste, and there's sex identity. And when there is three layers to deal with, I'm so curious to know, which layer did you have to deal with first? Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How did it even work?
When you say it back to me, I start feeling nervous.
Yes.
I start feeling nervous with the weight of it. Honestly, I didn't even I didn't think of it so much at the time because I think that maybe I wouldn't have been able to take it on. You know, what I knew at the time is that I trusted Neeraj. I loved Masan. I trusted Neeraj. I really liked the script because, again, the script is so nuanced and so layered. And it's not just picking up one thread and it's not just picking up one identity. It is an intersection of all these different identities that you spoke about. And when Neeraj and I had these conversations, I was completely reassured. I was reassured by him. I also had to do some research as well. I read that book Coming Out as Dalit by Yashika Dutt, which is a fantastic book because a lot of us are so privileged that we are caste blind. Only once we become aware and maybe when you're older and you teach yourself and you read up on things or learn about these things that you can become aware of these things, which like sometimes growing up in a very privileged household, you're not aware of. That really helped me. Some performances also really helped me. I love an actress called Erica Linda. She is Richie Phoenix on Instagram. Her name is Erica Linda, and she's done this beautiful lesbian love story called Below Her Mouth. It's a Canadian film, and it was at the Toronto Film Festival when I had gone with Death in the Gunge in 2016. Yeah. So, and she was there. She was like right there she went on stage, and I was fangirling so badly. And she had a profound impact on me generally as a person. I think somewhere I channelized that or internalized that, or it helped me to understand. I don't know what it helped me to understand, but just different ways of being, probably. So that really helped me. So that was kind of the research I did. And of course, it helped that, I had many close friends from the queer community as well, whom also I spoke with.
I also think that there is a physicality that this character has, unlike the other characters I've seen you play. Were there things that you had to keep in mind to not do this time? Because I truly believe that I haven't seen, like, my colleague at Film Companion, her name's Sneha, and then she said, how has she her face is hardened, bro, because she's internalized years of this, And I said, wow, that's such a brilliant observation, because your face, there weren't too many dialogues that Bharti had, honestly, because dialogues, kahin na kahin ye Aditi ki, mohtaj.
Because she had that
Yeah.
prattle, and she had that, yeah, her character did, yeah.
While you were the one who had to mostly react, and then those couple of lines here and there. So talk to me about the physicality of what might have you had to forget or not do while doing Bharti Mandir.
It's such an interesting question. And not that I know the answer to this, honestly, but it's such an interesting question. It's an interesting topic of discussion, and you can help me to explore. Because sometimes I feel that the way I am, I'm not an academic. I'm not an academic. I've not ever studied these concepts. And so forgive me on that. But, things I've heard people say that gender is performance. So what I am doing every day or in my other films, that is also a performance only of gender, of I am, a straight, whatever, cis het woman. So that is also a kind of performance, because sometimes when I'm just with myself and I'm just on my own, it's not like I feel particularly like a man or a woman or anything, I feel pretty androgynous, and I don't really feel like a woman all the time anyway. I don't know if all women go through that. And also there's no one way of being a woman, which is the problem, is that in mainstream culture, whether here or abroad or films or media or whatever, there is like one acceptable way of being a woman, one or whatever. Like there's what to do to be acceptable. It's like how I straighten my hair, I have curly hair, things like that, and we do it for whatever different reasons, and it's a personal choice, it's a prerogative, obviously, but so it's not like this version of me, but it's not like that's not me. Like somewhere there is that in me also, and I can access that sometimes.
Correct.
And I feel like I am that sometimes. Sorry, what do you think?
Lots of comments to clarify what you said, that a lot of gender is performance is such a controversial line.
Gender is not a noun but a verb. Somebody, I missed the name, said.
No, and a lot of people have been saying, what is gender is a performance. Do you want to go back to that line and just elucidate what you meant when you said that?
Guys, I'm really not the right person, and everybody should do their own research. So don't take my word for it, because I'm not an expert on this subject at all. But it is true that from whatever I have figured, really, is that, there's a lot of social conditioning.
Yes.
And not just for gender, but even our notions of, like, for example, love, the way it's portrayed in mainstream culture and the way you may experience it in your life, there may be a disparity in that. So it's at that time what happens is we've internalized so much of this conditioning that you're like, "Arey, why is it not happening? Like how it's supposed to be like this?" So which is a strange thing because there is no supposed to be. It's just like together some people have decided that, oh, it's this, we are only going to write about this or sing about this or whatever. It has to be like this. We've decided. Now we don't have to accept anything. That's the best part and the most freeing part of like being, I don't know, human being, an individual, and also an adult. Because when you're like, yeah, you don't have to accept anything. It may be difficult to change things immediately, but like you cannot participate in something. You can, you can question, whatever received wisdom. So one doesn't have to participate in this. And I truly feel that, yeah. So that's what I mean about gender being performance. Because I mean, I know how I'm supposed to behave in public. I know how I'm supposed to, if I want to come across as feminine, a particular kind of feminine, if I want to come, which is like dainty, pale, slim, these kind of things. That is a certain kind of very acceptable. There are, of course, there it's a bit of a spectrum. There are different ways of being a woman, and that is broadening slowly, which is great.
I love it that this sentence has been, in the chat comments, like been really, argued on. People are taking your side.
Oh,
Some people are not getting what you
God.
said. I think that's important because what is a conversation if it doesn't spark thought? So thank you so much for everybody who is, actually verbalizing what they feel. Guys,
Yeah.
in very few people have the guts to say, I don't understand it completely and I'm still understanding it. So when you have,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true. I'm still trying to understand. And I would love to actually study about it because I mean, I don't know, I didn't have these choices when I was younger, and I find it so interesting, actually. Like, I would love to do gender studies,
yeah,
feminist theories.
maybe in the pandemic, a lot of us are upskilling and this could be an upskilling session.
Yeah, yeah, but let's not put any pressure on ourselves to be overly productive also, so that we can just cope.
Stop, Rohini.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
what I loved is the fact that there is this invisibility of caste that, that we deal with as the
Mhm.
India of today. If someone turns around and says that, where is caste? There is no caste. I would say, man, you're really blind or you're really privileged because the only person who really feels caste divide is the person on the other side of the caste divide. And I want to take this conversation to that scene where you reveal
Mm.
to that you are,
Priya.
and then you go back to the office and she just walks off and then she says, aap idhar hi rukhiye, and then the camera just comes and there's this sort of shock and awe. What I found really interesting about the film was that there, as I keep saying, there are three layers. Forget the fact that women are marginalized, forget the fact that even the queer story is not acceptable. What was shocking was the caste story or the caste layer played out stronger than the woman or the queer story, because suddenly for Priya, I think being queer was okay, and only the caste thing seemed to be the thing that she was still not able to deal with. Did you feel that that was perhaps the bigger push in this narrative?
Oh my God, are you making me choose between?
I'm
I can't swear. I swear allegiance to all. I can't like choose one over the other or give one importance over the other, because that's why, thankfully, there is this intersection of all of this. I do think that for Neeraj, I think I read in an interview somewhere where he was saying that he approached it from the caste angle first, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that 100%. I think I may have read it. It's interesting because, like you said, that Priya is not as troubled by the queer angle as she is by the caste angle. I think it's maybe, and I'm not necessarily the right person to answer this, maybe Neeraj would be. I think it may be because her sexuality is never, she's not given any choice in that. It's just always assumed that she is cishet, as they say, but that she is straight and yeah, and she feels like a woman. So she's never given a choice in the matter. Whereas caste is something which you can't deny. It exists. I mean, there may be people who are unfortunately blind to it.
Yeah.
But you have to accept that there is a dominant caste of people. There are people who are dominant caste, and there are people who are, oppressed, and if that is the correct word. And unfortunately, Priya is somebody who's caste blind, but also unaware of it herself, because these are just handed down through generations. And I mean, it's not even openly spoken about, unfortunately. Many times I think, like, and that's why that steel cup is so important, because because so many times this continues till today, where you'll find that oftentimes people are given like a separate glass or separate utensils, etc., even for like help at home.
Yes.
And this comes from untouchability. This comes from generational, I mean, generations of caste prejudice, actually. But you don't know why you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad someone asked this question. Well done. And if you think you were trolling us, you were not trolling us, because this is a question.
Who? Somebody asked which question?
Somebody asked the question. I'm going to tell you the question.
Okay.
But I would have asked this in a more refined way. And maybe that's why, I'm glad and lucky I have the privilege of this conversation. The question that somebody asked was, how can a Sen and Sharma understand caste? And so let me rephrase it with the question that I had in mind. It's very tough to be a person of a certain privilege, and to play someone who's not had that privilege. Do you worry about this getting in, or what was that awareness for you like before you started this?
I really worried about it. That was the first thing I said to Neeraj, is that, oh my God, we are both going to understandably get flack for this, because I am not queer or Dalit to begin with. So I think that is a little bit ameliorated by the fact that it's a Dalit filmmaker, and it's his voice, and it's what he wants to say, and it's his choices of who he wants to take. And what he did say, and he has addressed this issue on, I think it's on his Twitter feed, where he has responded to this, and it's a question best addressed to him. But he has addressed this, and he did say that that is the ideal scenario, obviously.
Yeah.
Where we do have a Dalit queer person playing this role, playing this part, absolutely. And I mean, there's no argument with that. It's just that I think right now what happens is, what has happened, what Neeraj was saying, is there aren't too many people who are out as Dalit and queer.
Yes.
I mean, even though there may be some actors who are either Dalit or queer or both, but they may not even be out as such. And that's their prerogative. I mean, you have to do what you have to do, and that's your choice, 100%. So yeah, I mean, and hopefully we will get there by talking about these things, by bringing it to the mainstream, by, Netflix and Dharma backing this kind of content. Hopefully one will get there, because that's obviously the aim.
All right.
But this is just like till then.
Yeah, till then, of course.
Yeah.
Lots of people saying, girl crushing on you. So wow, lots of girl crushing.
Yay. Thank you.
Did I even ask you what the reception's been like? How's your phone? Is it buzzing off the hook? Are your DMs full? बहुत सारे offers आ रहे हैं दीदी को.
Abhi, offers, I wouldn't say in the lockdown, but the response has been quite overwhelming for me, because I'm a very private person, and I usually I am on social media, but only like quite erratic I am on it. Like sometimes I'll do a lot, then sometimes I'll forget. Like it's like that. So it's really been quite overwhelming and amazing and unexpected to a certain extent, and almost stressful, because I'm like, oh shit, I have to reply, and I can't have anything unread, So I get stressed out with unread things, and I get stressed out because I haven't replied. So that's all. Yeah. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing. And I don't think, I can't even remember experiencing this before, because even though people have liked my work in the past, I think at that time there was no social media where I could like instantly like find out what people are thinking, and instantly they can tell me directly. That's
Correct.
Not happened to me.
Wow, wow. Yeah, I think it's not happened. Someone wrote to me saying, life in a metro, wake up, Sid. And even though social media existed, it wasn't the monster it is today. So I took the amount of people who are reaching out. In fact, I do hope there's an Oscar for short films. I think there is. And maybe of that.
I hope so. Yeah.
So let's also ask you about your favorite is not my favorite, but toughest scene, because there are scenes that daunt actors, and especially in a short film, where everything I'd like to believe is as important as the rest of the film, right? Because there are these. What is the fondest memory or perhaps the scariest scene that you had to shoot for yourself in this one?
In this one, it's different in different films, huh? Like different requirements, excuse me, in different films. Like I remember in Omkara, I would say my toughest scene was the fact that I had to handle cow dung. I had to handle cow dung, and I had to make the ghunte in Bengali we call. I don't know what you say it in Hindi. Ghunte, I think it's called in Bengali. I don't know. Anyway, cow dung cakes I had to make with maggots. So it wasn't easy for me. No judgment, but no, it wasn't. It was difficult for me personally, so that was tough in that. That wasn't the only thing that was tough in Omkara. There was also this dialect which I'm completely unfamiliar with. That was very tough. It was a sing song film. In this film, I think I don't know. I think like I always find it tough when I have many lines, and there's just one or two scenes where I have a lot of lines, which I'm very apprehensive about. So I start doing my lines way in advance because I never want to be stuck for lines during shoot. Yeah, I think the scene where I'm convincing Aditi's character Priya, when Bharati is convincing Priya in the locker that you should have a baby. And I had a miscarriage when I was whatever, when I wasn't even 30. I had a miscarriage, and we don't even know actually that's completely true. I mean, she could be just saying that also.
She just throws it in कि 32 की उम्र में हमारा
बच्चा गिर गया था. Exactly. So we don't 100% know that it's true. It's not like we've shown a memory, but so that was a tough scene because it's a difficult one to write because you can't come across as scheming ki I'm going to pull off this revenge in the end.
Yes.
And it has to come from a place of hurt as well, saying, so it has to be convincing in that moment and for later. So that was a bit tricky, I think.
Sridhar Rangayan, who is the festival director of Kashish Film Festival, that's where we're at today. He's always said this to me that, Rose, sometimes I get really upset about films, which don't go beyond the love story narrative, And that to me was the win of Geeli, because wow, you took a film and you placed gender, caste, all of that we've been talking about. And then you also made it a revenge story. And I do want to give Neeraj, all of this, because this was like my homegrown Kill Bill without the violence.
Wow.
That was so cool because often the violence doesn't have to be, and a lot of people mention the punching scene while we're chatting. They're like, punching.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene? So yeah, I'm sure the punching scene was interesting for you to do.
I love that as well, yeah. But I find it much easier to be angry. It's much easier to do a full-blown anger scene,
Correct. And then you take a story that goes beyond just the fact that it's tough to be who we are, and then mount a revenge saga on it. So to me, that was my favorite bit of the film, and I rewatched it because I loved it. So, and when I rewatched it, what I didn't realize in the first viewing was the seed of revenge was actually that first scene, because the first scene where you tell her that she should get pregnant.
That one, yeah. That's the scene I was talking about, the tricky one.
Yeah. So that is the time when you're just watching the first time, you don't realize it. You think it's a genuine piece of advice. And when I watched the second time around, I said, oh, she had this idea. So she wanted her to kind of go. And she planted this idea in her head. How fun was that too? Was it empowering that this character, had this sort of, had this sort of day, had this sort of time of day, and she could do this?
Yeah, firstly, hats off to Neeraj, who's just brilliant with this, and as well as to Sumit Saxena, who is the co-writer. I think they did a great job, like you said, to mount a revenge story, because it is, and it's a sweet revenge story because there's so much satisfaction in that revenge, because you can completely understand Bharti, in the sense that she has been through the hoops and she's tried it to get what she wanted in through the correct channels, through the proper channels, and this is the systemic oppression that we speak of, and this is why I personally feel we need reservation, she's tried all of that. and she doesn't succeed. And I feel it's such an important comment, because when you don't pay heed to people when they are trying to do things the correct way, like through peaceful protest,
Correct.
it can go bad. In this case, it was this kind of revenge. Like you said, it's different kinds of violence. It can get much worse. So
Correct.
it's just that, I mean, this is why we have to listen to people when they're trying to tell us their problems, and we have to, we can't listen to other people telling us what Dalit problems are, other people, non-queer people telling us what queer problems are, because then it has to come from the community. So we have to hear them out. That revenge is so sweet because it is something that you completely, I hopefully understand, and you are rooting for Bharti, at that point, because you have seen what she has been through. And that's why I mentioned that scene is tricky, because that's the turning point. So it cannot at all at that point also come across ki, acha, by the way, why don't you have a baby? Maybe. So it can't be that either. It could also partly, so it should play both ways. And it should also be, yeah, you're clearly not, you know, you won't ever be able to come out in the open and do this properly. So just have a baby and lead the acceptable life you want to lead, which is also kind of true. So both things are kind of true. So it's kind of working at different levels, which is what was interesting.
Yeah, and in a weird way, that oppression was for the cis het woman as well, right? Which is bacha karo ghar pe raho.
100%. 100%. Patriarchy is a great leveler. And yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's not a great thing that Bharti is doing. It's just that you understand where she's coming from. And context is everything.
Correct. Context is everything. However, you just said something that I think begets a little bit more attention, or deserves more attention, which is you are for reservation. And I remember when we were in school and college in GDs or group discussions, for some reason this question would keep popping up to kids who had no idea of, but now where we are in life, I think we can contextualize that and give reason, saying, why are you in favor of reservation? Do you have anything to say about that?
I'll try. I may not be the best person, but I'll try. And I think Yashika Dutt's book also really helped me. I'm all for affirmative action because I feel like, this is a prejudice which has been there for thousands of years. So, I mean, having just, so you have to balance it out. And even if you just look statistically, like positions of power are by and large with dominant caste people.
Yes.
So till that is correct, how do you go about correcting it? So for example, if you and the merit argument doesn't really work for me. I mean, I realized, because the thing is that two people can study equally. Yeah, that's true. But what if your parents didn't go to school? What if your parents don't know English? Because they've been forced to kind of remain in one particular job, or they've not got opportunities. So suppose, I mean, then what do you do? So even to get into these IITs or any of these professional colleges, to even do the what is it called, the tutoring, the coaching classes, yeah, the coaching classes, even those to get into, it's very expensive. It's very expensive to get into this. So there's a lot of capital you need, and not just in terms of money, but also your parents have to already be educated. If your parents are educated, that's already, that's one hurdle.
Correct.
If your parents are not educated. So those kind of problems are there. Then how are you saying merit? So you have to give people a chance. And and then even when people have cleared or have come through and have joined these professional colleges, even then they are looked down upon, thinking, oh, you must. It's not like, even if you have reservation, it's not like you are forced to choose people who didn't get the marks. You're still taking people who did get the marks for it. So it's not like you're taking unqualified people.
Correct.
So as long as there is so much prejudice, we have to counter, there has to be some kind of counter. Now, I don't think that I've explained it as well as I had read it and understood it. So I think everybody should do some research and find out more for themselves. And please read Yashika Dutt's book coming out as Dalit.
Coming out as Dalit, please. That's a recommendation. Suddenly this is turned into a film club and a book club with Konkona Sen. amazing because here she is telling us what we should be watching and we should be reading more of. I want more people to perhaps at this point ask questions because we've kept about
Please.
15
Yeah.
Q&A. So if you have questions, I know you have a lot of comments and a lot of love, so that's great.
Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm reading some of the comments now.
Yeah, please go ahead. As you go through those comments, if you have any questions, guys, it'll be great. And yeah, you can't support reservation. That's disgusting. Great. This is a debate, guys. This is true. I don't mind the comments that come in at this point simply because
That's okay.
with understanding, and very few people have the humility to say that we're still trying to understand and we don't deal in absolutes, and that is when a conversation can happen. So whoever it is you are, good luck to you because you're not open in mind, so all the best.
Yeah,
That's just
for example, I just remembered like when the slaves were freed, when the African American people were freed, at that time, they would say, okay, now you're free, now you do what you're equal to, say, the Northern American people, whatever, the North, right? Because slavery was more rampant in the South. But at that point, those guys, the recently freed slaves or whatever, they had no education, they had no land. They were owed generational wealth, like for like because it was free labor. So they didn't start off with anything. They didn't even start off with zero. They started in minus.
nice.
So how do
Correct.
you counter that? Yeah, I just
Correct.
remembered this.
Burning
That's why you
question.
need affirmative action. Yeah.
That's what
Burning question.
burning question that's been coming to me for the last couple of days since we announced the live is when are you going to direct next year? Can we please have Konkona Sensharma directing for us? Because there's the Ganj, one of my favorite films, definitely of this decade. Okay, so
Thank you.
it's outstanding. And if you guys haven't watched it, please, Death in the Ganj, dekhiega. And
Thank you so much. It's on Amazon Prime.
yeah, it's on
Just saying.
Amazon. So please
Yeah,
watch
I
it.
don't know how long it'll be there for, so just watch it. The thing is, and a few people did comment about Death in the Ganj, and I'm so happy um, uh, because I feel like that is me. I mean, of course, I feel like a lot of my roles are me, some more than others. But Death in the Ganj is just me. I mean, I feel like it's, yeah, me in the sense that I feel closest to that more than any other film.
For sure.
It's not just me, it's a whole a lot of other people who've helped make it happen. But that's the film I feel closest to. The reason I think I haven't directed anything else is A, because I got like a little busy as an actor, which is great because, recently I got some interesting roles, like, for example, Alankrita Srivastav's Dolly Kitty, which was again a really interesting role for me because suddenly I'm not playing like a perfect person or a woman. Like I'm playing an interesting, complex, nuanced woman who's like complicated, not complex. A complicated woman who's not necessarily always making good decisions. She's kind of lying, cheating, stealing, etc. But you can understand. There's some attempt to understand. So basically I got some good roles. I just did a film with my mom. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, we just completed that, thankfully, in this pandemic. Like just before this whole second wave hit us, so we were very lucky with that. So I just feel like because I'm an actor as well, and I'm lucky that I've got some interesting roles of late, and hopefully I will continue to do so. That unless I really have something to say, I really don't want to get into direction, especially of a feature right away,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not
Like it's
committing to directing a film yet, and we're very upset because we want.
so sweet. Yeah.
So please, one film quickly. And
Yeah.
and a question coming that I just saw right now, which asks us, what is the thing that we're going to see you in next?
Oh, I think so. Next will be. Oh, so there's this show called Bombay Diaries that Nikhil Advani has done. That's
Mm-hmm.
going to come out on Amazon Prime. It's
Okay,
about a government hospital, and it's the day of the 26/11 attacks. So
correct.
that's quite in that show that's going to come out soon. I'm excited about. And then there's my mother's film, which is, as of now, the working title is Prisoners. Uh, yeah, that's with Arjun Rampal and Tanmay Dhanania. Applause Entertainment and Quest Films have produced that film. So I'm really excited about that because it's a very interesting, weird story about a rape and its aftermath.
All right. Looking forward to the film definitely at this point.
Thank
And
you.
I had this question. I always like to ask the actor, what did this role give you? What did it give you? Not just the applause and all the praise and the compliments, which you totally deserve, but it does leave you different. I remember when I started off, I made a film about water problems in Maharashtra, and a small thing that happened was I used to brush with my tap open, you know,
Mm.
because when you go to a place where there's no water, and then you come back, and till today, and that film was 10, 15 years ago. For 15 years now, that changed me. So keeping this in mind, what do you think Bharti Mandal gave you?
Interesting. Um, See, I was also asked this, when I did Mr. and Mrs. Iyer. The
Yes,
thing is that because Mrs. Iyer goes through a kind of a transition herself.
correct.
So I have to say that for me, it's not like I had some kind of prejudice which I had to overcome, or at least nothing that I was aware of in this. Um, it gave me a lot of freedom. I feel like playing Bharti Mandal gave me a lot of freedom because I was somehow very comfortable in my skin and my clothes. I mean, more so than when I have done certain roles which have required a lot more attention to hair, makeup, wardrobe departments. So there was a lot of freedom, and I felt really comfortable being like that. And I like somehow that really appealed to me. So it kind of gave me a certain freedom to behave like that and to be like that, when I want to, whether in my like in my real life as well. I would, for example, love to be able to wake up and just wear those overalls every day. I, yeah, like I wish I had a uniform for every day because I don't want to decide every day what I have to wear. I find it unnecessary, it takes up time.
Correct.
Uh, yeah. And some days when you want to dress up, then you dress up. It's not like anybody, you have that choice always. But otherwise, it's great if I could just have one thing which I just wear every day. I don't have to worry about it too much. And I don't know, I just felt so comfortable in the boots and the overalls, especially. I felt so confident and so powerful in it. That's
Correct.
what it gave me. It gave me that feeling. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and I think it just came into the character as well. So the mannerisms and all that, and that handkerchief with which costumes had given me a fantastic prop it became. Rohit Chaturvedi did the costumes. So it was, I think, initially designed as a like a neckerchief, like many times people will have this like for sweat, they'll put it under their collar. So we had thought that maybe she has something like that. And then, we thought maybe she could have it around her wrist. And it just became my thing, which I was constantly playing with it. I told them, don't wash it. I wanted to become soft. And yeah, so that really like those things really helped me. And it gave me a certain freedom, which I have rarely experienced as an actor. And somewhere I think that when you've had that experience and you've had that memory, it kind of bleeds into your real life also. Maybe in
Correct.
ways that I can't necessarily articulate.
No problem. Even physicality is fine. The love for overalls we've discovered with boots, and of course, how versatile a handkerchief can be. Someone also asked, saying, would you have played Priya Sharma if you had a choice? Did you have a choice at all?
No, no. I mean, Neeraj came to me with Bharti, and I think Aditi was superlative as Priya, because yeah, I mean, there was a lot of complexity that she got to that role, and with such ease, she did it with such ease.
Yeah,
It made it so easy for me to kind of, just be in love with her.
that
So I would, I don't know that I would have been able to do that. So I'm happy that I was Bharti.
I remember you being there at the film festival that we're representing today, which is the Kashish Film Festival.
Hmm.
And do you have memories of being there and
Oh yeah,
watching? Because I remember when we watched Monsoon Date at Regal Cinema, or
yeah.
was it Liberty? And I watched it at Liberty, and the amount of people who gasped because there was an experience that was being shared on that screen. What do you think Kashish Film Festival can do for people who are not just queer or LGBTQIA plus, but for everybody?
It depends so much on us because we are the ones who have to broaden our horizons. I mean, Are you interested in other people's lives? I mean, not in a nosy kind of a way, but just the way a human life can be lived in so many different, diverse, and equally valid ways. So I think it would be great if, like, if it could also, like, we could have like school kids watching and attending, Kashish, because it's really a place to broaden your horizons, and that is it's a good time to do when you're young. Obviously, age appropriate films. But I think Kashish is something that, like, I mean, it's firstly, it's not just for the LGBTQIA whatever plus community, but it's also, I mean, it's just good films because they're curating those films. You're not just watching a film because it's from the community, though that is also a great platform uh, for people from the community. But you're also watching it because it's been curated by the festival, so there is a certain standard to it. So I just think, we have to. Are we going to be just so satisfied with the straight and narrow? Are we not going to open up our own minds and, experience films from different communities? Because that will only make our own experiences richer. Because we restrict ourselves and limiting ourselves. This is my identity. This is my life. And we all have so many identities. Like, I am a woman, I am a mother, I am an Indian, I am an atheist, I am a Bengali. I am many different things. So yeah, I just feel, and there are other people with, some common identities, some not so common identities, like some where, I might share in common with them, some people who have completely different identities. But we all, regardless of what identity we may have or not have, we all experience, like, love, we all experience loss. Uh, and there's so many different ways to go about it, and it just makes us our own experiences richer and more meaningful. And it makes us feel less alone.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you want to feel less alone, or if you want to understand the lives of others, as as Konkona just famously quoted, then I want to urge everybody on this live. Konkona, I know that this is really important to us, that you gave us your time to chat today. And this is just a way of empowering the small film festival. By the way, it's small, I'm saying, in terms
It's
of, like,
not small, it's the biggest in Asia,
it's
right?
the film festival in South Asia.
Right,
So, but there are a lot of people outside of India who know about the festival. And
right.
that is the irony of this. There are a lot of people who probably in Mumbai who could have come all of these years to watch the festival, perhaps may not have known about it. So honestly, just you coming here is giving us that, visibility. And for that, I really, really am grateful. So I just want to say that before I
I'm
move.
very grateful. Also, I want to say that we have a Kashish Film Festival, which is an international film festival, internationally recognized film festival, and we in Bombay have, as Mumbaikars, we have the opportunity to, participate in this festival, and we should be really proud. We're really lucky to have this festival among us in our city.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to end with one question that I found really interesting. And the question is, what do you think is your biggest asset as an actor? I thought this was a really nice question somebody asked here.
Okay.
Oh, what is it in your toolkit, which is, वो क्या शस्त्र क्या है? So what is
Are,
it?
I'm going to go to my mom for the answer to this because, she had said, and she often says that, it's because um, she says that, I can be many different things and I can look many different ways. And that apparently is very helpful for an actor. She had said this, which is probably true. I can look quite different. I guess I have a flexible, moldable, adaptable, I don't know, kind of a face. Yeah, I think that helps. And
Yeah,
I'm quite open-minded also about, like, being different ways. I really feel like, I mean, I don't want to decide that I am this way. I mean, right now I might be like this, but I'm not a fixed entity. And I'm changing and evolving, hopefully. And I
yeah,
really feel like we have everything within us already. Everything is there. You just have to access it.
the amount of people who are saying, "Oh, you're so pretty, you're so gorgeous, you're so good looking," which you are.
Oh, thank you.
That is amazing, because ultimately it doesn't matter. You are open to looking like anything. And I think that's what I get, because, I've seen so many people say that. And when you said this, that just kind of like hit me that this was so beautiful. I'm actually going to scroll up with a comment. This is Asavari.
Sure.
Konkana, I get it that you want to understand humanity. In the current socio-political climate, you understand that there is absolutely no representation of DBA queer people. Well, we've been
Yeah,
trying. Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Absolutely, there isn't, and there really should be. And I mean, I don't even know what exactly one can do about it except to make ourselves more aware and keep this conversation going as well. I try to
Yeah.
follow some voices from the DBA community, from the queer community as well. So that's my own personal journey. But yeah, systemically, I don't know
There
how
isn't
we're going
enough.
to correct that. Yeah.
Well, we can keep having questions because there'll be more and more people who want to talk to you, but I don't want to exhaust you. So I just want to say thank you so much for
Not
joining
at
me.
all. I'm happy to take a couple of more questions in case you want.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, no, I'm happy to take a few more questions.
Pokrat says, as long as
Hi,
she was
Pokraj.
in face, it's fine.
As long as?
She wasn't in brown face, it's fine.
Yeah. God. No,
Okay.
not at all.
How how has your work and understanding of cinema changed from Mr. and Mrs. Iyer to now? Wow, that's a big question.
Oh my God. I don't even know because I think that at the time of Mr. and Mrs. Iyer, I never wanted to be an actor anyway. I had told her to take somebody else for this role. I told my mother, but then I, I mean, she tricked me, thankfully, and I got the part. Yeah, and nepotism. I'm thinking in my head anyway. And then so I was lucky. Got distracted. So I was really lucky. And then only after that, so when I was younger, I think I didn't take it so seriously. I never took the acting so seriously because I thought I'm going to get a job. This is not for long. I'm just doing this because they're telling me to do this. They keep saying I'm good. I'm going to try. I'm going to do this. But there was a lot more appreciation that came later with age. After like I've had a career for so long. I've been acting for so many years, 2 decades as an adult, and I actually started as a child actor.
Correct,
So
correct,
I have much
correct.
more appreciation for acting than I did then.
Much more appreciation for acting and what you do, of course.
Yeah,
Your question, I'm just going to take one more.
yeah.
Okay. Did you watch the other shots and did you enjoy the others as well?
I did watch the fourth story because I heard from people that that was good as well, and I love Shefali Shah anyway. So I've loved her since Monsoon Wedding and Satya. So I wanted to watch her work, and I really love her, and she never disappoints. So I haven't watched the first two yet, but
Okay.
I want to watch them all.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yes, someone says question and then you've not given the question, so give fast because then Konkona has to go.
I
Uh,
have to go at 7.
yeah. So please, 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 please send your question. Don't just write question. We've answered a
Hi,
lot of questions.
Shreya. That's my friend, the wonderfully talented Shreya Dev Dubey, the cinematographer, who
Hi.
did Cat Sticks and Meera Nair's show, Suitable Girl, Boy. Now there are all, yeah.
Oh, okay, so lots of questions coming in about your past work. Guys, I just want to also say that we've been chatting for a while. So a lot of you who have questions right now, those questions may have already been answered. So you will find this full chat on the Kashish Live handle. So you can go
Right.
back and listen to those answers because I'm not going to ask her to repeat her answers again. Were there queer people involved in the making of the film? Let me answer that for you quickly. Yes, they were involved. If there's something you want to add to that, Konkona, please go ahead.
No, no, you're absolutely right. There were like, I mean, quite a few. I mean, they all often are in any case on a film set, often. And even in this one.
This is such a cute question. How did you manage to get Murli to follow you, yeah, in the film?
I had dog food in my pocket. I
Ah,
had dog food in my pocket, yeah. And I just adopted a puppy myself. I just adopted a stray myself. And then, like a month or two later, I was shooting this. So I was just recently like getting into dogs and, learning about them and just getting comfortable with them, etc.
fantastic, fantastic. Well, I think there are so many questions right now which have already been answered. So at this point, I want to take everyone's good wishes for you because so many people have said all the
Thank
best.
you.
Greetings from Israel. You know, Moses is here. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Thank you. And such a beautiful comment. He says, beautiful performance, such great emotions. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, the Reddy sisters were my idea. Pokhraj, you know more about me than myself, more about my life. It's amazing.
Too good. Too good. Too good. So yeah,
Thank you, guys. Rohini,
yeah.
thank you so much for this. I'm so glad and I'm excited about the Kashish Film Festival. What are the, like, are there online dates? Is it online? Do you want to tell us?
So this year, the film festival is online. It's virtual and it starts on the 20th of May. And
Okay.
until of June, it's every weekend where you can sit in your home and watch the most amazing queer themed cinema from all over the world. So please, guys, please, if you are someone who's vaguely interested in either gender or in cinema, okay, so there are
Yeah.
two here. Please come and please watch these films. And all you've got to do is just buy a ticket and watch it. And the festival needs funds as always, and we're fundraising as every year. And this year is so tough for us because of COVID. So if you
Where are you
guys
buying the tickets? On the Kashish page on Instagram?
on the Kashish site,
Okay. On the
uh,
Kashish site.
in the bio for Instagram.
Right.
If you go on to Keto, then that's the crowdfunding, crowdsourcing donation. So
Sweet.
if any amount is welcome, because honestly this truly happens with people who just say we want this festival to happen. So we're really grateful if people can be part of the festival in some way. And yeah, thanks Konkona for mentioning that.
Thank you, Rohini.
Yeah,
Thank you. So,
thank
hi,
you.
Rohit Chaturvedi is here.
Oh,
Our
Rohit,
costume designer, Rohit. Hey, get it. Can you come to come on?
yeah, of course. Rohit, can you send us a request?
I mean, unless you don't want to and you're busy, that's totally fine too. We don't want to
No,
be
not at
invasive. Yeah.
all.
But anyway, it's just that he's one of my favorite people and he's done the costumes for Death in the Gunj, for Dolly Kitty, for Lipstick, and so many other films. Yeah.
Rohit, request, please. We want to take.
Maybe he's busy.
Come on, Rohit.
This is
Waiting
like
for.
Clubhouse. You can't just go to Clubhouse because constantly you're being invited to talk. You can't just hang and
Oh,
listen, it's so annoying.
is not ready for it because he's obviously not in hair and makeup at this point.
Oh, but he's such a handsome fellow.
Oh,
Anyway,
damn.
and Gangs of Singapore is here too. Hi. I recognize some of the handles.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
amazing.
this has been really nice. Thank you so much, Rohini. All the best to Kashish. And looking forward to the festival this year. 20th May, guys. It's on the Kashish Insta handle.
Thank you. And yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
your time, Konkona. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
How do I leave this? Acha, okay. Bye.